Hello, welcome back on In Between Homes podcast. Today I have the pleasure to meet with Marion Junet. Welcome on board!
Thank you for having me. It's really nice to connect with you through this way. Thank you.
Thank you. So, tell us, where is home for you?
Oh, wow. What a question. Um, it's something that I've been thinking a lot about for the last few years because when I arrived in Barcelona almost 10 years ago, I thought that would be it. I got a place and I thought, oh, I can just, get my luggages down and start decorating my flat and, all the things you're dreaming of when you are moving all the time. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I went to Bali and I stayed there for a few months, for 9 months. And I thought when I came back to Boston, I've been really asking myself, okay, what's next and where is home and where is my land, my land. And to be completely honest, I don't have the answer yet. The one thing that I know is what matters the most to me is my community, is the people. And I considered going to maybe Portugal, to somewhere else, not too far because I lived very far away for many years and, parents getting older and I want to be kind of like not too far. But yeah, I thought, isn't it like just the grass is greener somewhere else? Portugal is like, my friends in the UK talk a lot about it and it's very lovely as well. But then I thought, you know what? I really don't see myself after living in something like 8 countries in 20 years. I don't know if my heart can take it in full honesty. Of, I mean, having to start from scratch is not a problem in itself because I'm an only child and I did that since my very, very young age to make friends, everywhere I went. And I'm an extrovert, so I have no problems with that. But yeah, like, all the relationships that I've been nurturing for the last few years and really finding my people, meaning people that share the same values and share the same vision and people I can rely on, people that I know that if anything happens, I can just call them in the middle of the night and they will be there. Like my friend, I've been staying with a friend for the last year and a half. She's also my business partner, but beyond that, it's like just yeah, I didn't want to go to Barcelona, and then she opened her door to me in a beautiful city that is next to it, and yeah, so the little things, I was I mean, yeah. Just to share this little thing, but one of my friend, she's from the US and she doesn't speak Spanish, and she lives in the center of the town. And anyway, you see this thing where I come to a house, ask her, "Oh, can I drop my bike? Because I don't want to leave it in the street." And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, come up, come up." And so I leave it in her place. And then she's like, she's in her 70s. She doesn't speak fluently Spanish. And she says to me, "Oh, hey, would you be okay to give a call for me to the hospital to book an appointment?" And this I'm talking about. This is being able to be in service for someone else and being able to have my friend supporting me when I need it. So that was a long answer, but yeah.
I love it. I love it. Community is so important, and I think a lot of us during, the pandemic and also living abroad can be something sometimes feel lonely. And when you have found your people, when you're able to receive as much as you give, it's really, really like a gift. Like it's really powerful, and I can totally relate to this feeling of home. So thank you for sharing that. So if we look back at your life 10 years ago, what was Marion doing? How was your life back then?
Wow, 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, it's funny you just say 10 years ago because 2014 was a very big year for me. It was a turning point, actually. I was living in London after living in London I was already living abroad for 10 years. I was living in London for 5 years back then. And I was going through a breakup that was one of those that, yeah, feel pretty dense and heavy. And you really this breakup really, brought me to my knees, to this place that we call rock bottom. And as challenging as it was perfect because I needed to hit that point. I needed to really face some difficult things that actually through traveling I was escaping. I think a part of me always, that escaped and thought, oh, if I run fast enough, if I move, all the way through Australia or New Zealand, or, that somehow it's okay. I'm not so close to that. So that should work out, which obviously it wasn't. And, I couldn't avoid it. I had to face the reality. And so, yeah, so this is when I started to take, to work on myself, to stop feeling the pain, stop feeling all the things that I kind of like tried to push under the carpet for so long. And yeah, and obviously, I mean, it's been a it's been a hell of a journey, because yeah, it was layers after layers after layers, and it was definitely not something straightforward. Um, but yeah, and I decided this is when I actually decided to. I mean, life decided for me, I want to say, because the decision to move to Barcelona was not even my decision per se. It was really like circumstances that brought me to Barcelona, and this is, yeah, where I landed and where the journey started, although it really started in the UK.
Mm. So, from who you were at the time, did you imagine who you would be today, 10 years later, and this amazing woman?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly 10 years ago, I don't know if I could even project myself, to like a little bit further because I had a very, it was very challenging. But um, yeah, I think there's a part of me that always been having a lot of faith. Um, and I never wanted to give up and thought there's no stopping the shit. No, I decided to work on this path, so we're gonna have to go for it. And yeah, I guess the woman that I was way more rigid, way more. I was wounded and I was operating from my wounds. So I was an aggressive warrior.
Mm.
This is who I was. Um, yeah, and the journey has been, and I just want to share this because I had a journey with mushrooms last week, and the thing that kept coming back in my journey was a lot about being uh, I don't know if the word is heart warrior, but it's been all about removing the layers, the armor, one layer of armor falling down, and so basically going from something that thick to like getting thinner and thinner and thinner so something can just open up here and just can and then I can feel the richness of those relationships. I can really feel yeah, that thing that we call love.
Wow. And I think you are not the only one, a warrior, as a woman in the world. So, can you explain maybe more the process of removing the armor for people like when you are a lot in your, I would say, masculine energy, when you are a woman that, need to protect herself, um, need to build her life abroad and all those things. How did you do the process? What would be your potential piece of advice for people who may experience the same?
It's gonna sound so cliche, but cliches are often true. So, you know, the first thing I would say is what we resist persist. And in my healing journey, especially I started with plant medicine like ayahuasca. That's some of the first thing that kind of fell on my path that I was not looking for. I was going through the journeys, but I was still resisting a lot because this is the only thing that I knew because I was so terrified inside that I just felt I needed to hold on. I needed to, otherwise everything was gonna fall. And so um Yeah, it's been a journey of kind of learning to soothe myself. And I would say, and this is what I do with my clients now, is working with the nervous system and being able to hold myself, to calm myself down, to, and in the process, reparent myself, to let like this part, those parts, because it's not just my inner child, like there's so many versions of her at different ages, depending on what happened in my inner teenager and yeah, it's really being able to be that voice of the inner parent and just to say like, hey, it doesn't matter what happened, I'm going to be here for you and we're going to go through this. um so yeah, I would say this is crucial, but also I think one quality that is very important is, I mean, there's quite a few qualities that are very important, but one of them is compassionate curiosity. Because at the beginning, I think I was not in compassion with myself. I was still very much in a judging place of keeping judging myself for having done this or having behaving this way, and for being, aggressive or being very much in like an unbalanced masculine energy. And of course, like, I just kept repeating, I was caught in the same vicious circle because, if I cannot be, if I keep judging myself, doesn't matter what I understand, I cannot hold myself. And so compassion has been very important. And it took me a long time it was just a word that I didn't understand. It was just a concept, a mental concept, until I could really feel it. Until like through, work with the somatic, work with the body, learning to be kinder with myself, with allowing myself to feel all of the range of emotions and just welcoming what comes without, without saying like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I shouldn't be feeling angry or so this, and and taking responsibility. I think it's fundamental to to evolve. That means like, yeah, I mean, like now I can make different choices. I was a victim. I mean, for me, I developed a very strong, just to tell a little bit about my story, like I developed a very strong masculine because I was abused by a man as a child and I was rejected by my father. So yeah, from a very young age, that was my survival mechanism. It's like, I need to become a man if I want to make it. I need to look in front of me and keep running as fast as I can because the faster that I move forward and I can just, get this job, have a good career, travel the world, then I don't have time to stop and be with my emotions. And also becoming this, like, I was kind of proud to be a badass. I was proud to like be, when we'll go out with my friends, like the kind of bodyguard, like no guys will ever mess with me. But of course, I let you imagine how this impacted my relationship with men and also how that was blocking my heart because I was in defensive mode all the time. So yeah, it's been this journey of through the nervous system regulation, it's been developing safety and through the reparenting as well. Because before, without developing this safety, I think it's impossible to do this work. If you don't feel safe, you cannot open up. You cannot let you're gonna stay with your weapons up. Then if it's like, no, it's safe actually, like the world it can be a safe place.
Yeah.
But you don't have to, and this is when the responsibility comes in, like, then I'm gonna have to choose to believe that the world is also a safe place. Not everywhere, not at all times, but one of the realities that I choose to believe is there is really fucking good people in this world. There is places that are welcoming, that want the best for me. And so that changed a lot the narrative. And yeah, what I would say is create safety, reassure and give to your inner child all the things that they never get, they never received. Develop this relationship to the core, really invest in it, commit to it, come back to it, and and then things definitely would change, and then the layers can just start melting, and then it's like the and also, I mean, many of the things I would say, I mean, we've been working with the same medicine women, and we've been doing a lot of work on the feminine, being part of Women's Circle. Also, for me, it's so important because being in places where I learn, in safe places where I can be vulnerable, because the feminine is really, wow, it's safe for me to get naked here
Mm,
and to really show my heart, to really show, and through this, for me, it's been transformational to understand that what I thought was powerful was actually keeping me weak.
mm,
Um, and actually, vulnerability, which I once, thought, thought was just bullshit, like all the words like, compassion and healing and all of those things. I thought, yeah, sure, just I'm tired of those hippies. Well, actually, when the day I felt all of this, yeah, it was different. So,
wow, I think this is just amazing. All the greatness you just share, the opening of the heart from nourishing your inner child, from, removing the creating safety. It's really about that, creating your own safety, reassuring your inner child that you are here for her, for him, and especially the beautiful message you should share. There is greatness in this world, there is beauty in this world. And we have a tendency nowadays, to only focus on what is happening wrongly in this world. But of course, if we open our eyes and our heart, I would even say, around her, so many good things happening. Like you helping this grandmother about making a phone call in a country where she doesn't speak the language. You can help to hold the door to someone that come into your building. There's so many things that we can bring the valuable change in this world, and it starts within ourselves. And this safety, I think it's one of the things I also learned in my life, because I've been like you, a warrior, and of course, on the way of bringing more the feminine energy and all of that. I was like, my God, if only I knew earlier that I need to bring safety to me. I think on my own path, I did it through financial safety. I think it has been what has been holding me. But then, there are next level of safety, and we need all women, all even men. I think they need to build their own safety, and it starts within ourselves. So you started to talk about the feminine energy. So can you tell us how to run a business, how to live abroad, and at the same time being able to embrace more feminine energy and having a loving relationship with a partner when you have to step in so many different masks or energy time to time. How has been the journey for you? And if you have any advice, please share.
thank you for this question. Yeah, I mean, it's a, work in progress. I think coming from that far and also living, oh, bless you, living in a society that is really valuing the masculine energy, because masculine energy is performance, is productivity, gets shit down and also get us all to work our asses off. And it's good for the economy, not good for us. But, so that's where the problem is for men and women, actually, I think. And for us women, we come so far away from where this energy where we thrive. So the feminine energy, and just to tell it maybe a little bit for people that might not be so aware of it. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're born in a man's body or woman's body. uh we need both to function. We need like moments where we are in action, we have direction, we take initiative, we get things done, we need to be rational thinking, and versus being in the feminine of moments where we actually need to rest, we need to relax, we need to be able to receive, and to be in a place where through this stillness, through those moments of stopping, we can have access to the wisdom of the heart to feeling what's happening, like all those energies and emotions are moving through us. So you can imagine that when we are always in masculine energy, we're missing so much out. And we are missing this like hyper creative part that is accessible when we stop and when there is those pauses to, because the pauses are spaces of emptiness where there is space for something else to come in. Without that, it's like we're running from ego, from, oh, I already know everything. And so for me, I have a very strong ego, like many, I believe, but I'm just gonna talk about mine. Yeah, it's been a lot about learning to slow down. And as I said, like I used to live my life 100 miles an hour. I would work hard and play hard. I love to party as well. So, and because I don't know, for a very, very long time in my life, I couldn't stay on my own. I had to be surrounded by people all the time. I don't know if it's like the only child phenomenon or, um, and so just I had to learn to be on my own, slow down, take moments of pauses. And it started thanks to a dear friend of mine that does Reiki. And I would just go to her house. I had no idea what she was doing to me. But what I knew is like for maybe the first time in my life, I stopped for an entire hour without doing anything, meaning not reading, not being on my phone, not meditating, or I mean, meditation could be, but depends if it's like a meditation where we follow something or if we're just like completely being present with what happens. And so, yeah, for me, it's been about learning to slow down and put like moments where, like, literally, what I do now is I put like timers of 10 or 15 minutes in the middle of the day where I will just like lay down on my bed and look at the ceiling or close my eyes and just be with what is. And even this, some days, is a fucking challenge. Yeah, but I can see the difference. So it's very much this slowing things down. Then it's, I think, and that's a quality I didn't mention before, but for me, it's been a huge one in the last 2 years is humility. Humility means, honestly, even like physically, I would just go into the child pose and put my forehead on the ground and just say, I don't know anything anymore. Please show me. Having the humility to admit that I don't know nothing and that I'm open to receive guidance. Um, and this is something that I think it's like, I don't know if it's, I mean, I see it as a feminine thing because yeah, I'm being open to receive,
Mm.
not going with this I already know or like you know where there's already something in action. And so yeah, this is super important, but learning to receive and learning to receive is an art. For me, coming from this, you know, obviously toxic feminism from the 80s of you know, all my childhood, I don't know about you, but I heard like, be strong, be independent, make sure you will never rely on a man. And so, as much as I understand where that was coming from, because it was important to, you know, have a job and be able, you can survive in this world, being brought up I don't know how you say those days, but just by my mom. Yes, I totally get it. But also seeing that how far it can go if it's not balanced, how far it goes on the spectrum, and it can be you know, then you end up always being in like the masculine energy and creating all those layers and being the giver all the time. And so what I've been really practicing in the last few years is um not fighting to pay a bill and being, you know, really appreciated when a man invites me, receiving a compliment from whoever and not trying to give a compliment back, but taking a moment to say thank you. Um, yeah, those little things. I think just always sometimes and doing in the same way with work, instead of being in the oh my god, like the panicking, whether it's like something connected with money or something connected with oh, I need to do this, and sometimes actually being no, actually I'm not gonna entertain that,
Mm.
and I'm gonna, and I think with the feminine comes this trust in the universe got my back somehow because so far things have been kind of going well. If I look at, at the grand scheme of things. So I need to also partner up with the universe and have moments where I just lay down and I just say like, okay, I kind of need some support now. So, I'm just gonna be open and see what happens. And so I think this is in terms of business, as I said before, I think this is really opening the door of finding ideas or just having like things that just drop and be like, oh my God, I never thought about that. I just thought about option A, B, C, and then now this comes in because I created the space. So I think it's fundamental. And as women, I think we have so much intuitive power and being able to channel things and but again, if we run all the time, that's never gonna come. And then when it comes to relationships, where I think, fundamentally, it is the capacity to be emotionally vulnerable. This is about to say, like, hey, I'm really freaking out right now because, I mean, there's a part of me that is freaking out. Usually it's not the whole me. There's a part of me that is freaking out because, um, yeah, I'm not feeling enough safety. And I need more of this, and whether it's someone, it's a new relationship, whether it's dating, but I think women are missing something so big when it comes to, I think so many women want to feel deeper connection with their partners. But the thing is, it's always with this um, kind of playing it safe.
Yeah.
It's like, I want you to open, but I'm not gonna open until you don't open. It's like who's gonna get naked first.
Yeah.
And and for me, it's like I've been understanding so deeply lately that when I can open up from a place of, because it feels right, because it feels that I want to share this because this is something that is a part of me. I don't have I just turned 40. I'm not here to play anymore. Um I want to make sure that whoever the person is in front of me, whether it's a friend, whether it's someone I want to work with, whether it's a lover or someone, I want to have this heart connection. Otherwise, it's pointless. And so if I don't open up, like, what is my story? What has been my wounds when something doesn't feel quite right? Um, yeah, I know it's not gonna work out. So I've been really practicing, and with this my dear friend that I'm living with and I'm working with, we have a very close relationship, so we've been practicing this, and we had some very challenging, I mean, very challenging, yeah, we had conversations that awoken a lot of insecurity and a lot of anxiety in both of us, of course, because they were things we had to work on. And what's been a massive game changer is really, since both of us are doing the work separately, so reparenting, me telling my inner child, because I'm an anxious attached, so telling my inner child, for instance, hey, um, she needs a bit more time to process. It's got nothing to do with you. It's her process. There is, like, I know what I'm responsible for, and I know where it stops, and I know that then this is the other side of the street. And doing this kind of like self-regulating my nervous system, being like, okay, and then taking the time. And when the time comes and it's aligned for both of us, sitting down. And the first thing that we would say to each other is, um, I feel a bit nervous, and I feel actually there's a part of me that is terrified about having this conversation with you right now. But I want you to know that having this conversation for me, it's feeling closer to you ultimately. That my intention for us sitting together is feeling closer. And this, the amount of safety it creates for this little sentence at the beginning of speaking, having difficult conversation or having to share like some things that, yeah, like, of course, having a non-violent communication and taking ownership and all of that. But
Yeah.
even this is kind of like preparing. And so, yeah, this is why I wanted to share it with people because it's been a game changer. And I want to say that once you are in the capacity to be holding yourself, doing space holding for yourself, meaning having like a foundation with different practices, regulating your nervous system, you can have the conversation with your inner child, then it's not that scary to have those conversations. There's always a part that's going to be freaking out, and this is normal. This is human. But to be able to, and taking the step and saying, actually, I want emotional depth with this person, so I'm going to be the one that's going to make the first step. And this is
This is powerful. Yeah, like saying it intentionally, like it's not about, putting you as a judgment or putting you as a responsible, but really seeking the depth of the relationship, the connection. I think it's such a beautiful advice you are giving us today, and thank you for that. Can you tell us a little bit more? Have you always been an entrepreneur by living abroad, or how has been your journey in the business world?
Oh, wow, it's been an interesting journey to say the least. I think I did pretty much, I mean, I did so many different jobs throughout my life, from serving food to kids on colonies in summer, when I was a teenager, to work, I mean, working in a camping, being a waitress. Um, God, I did so many jobs. But one of my favorite jobs that I had the chance to have for 7 years before becoming an entrepreneur was to be sales and marketing manager for a sex toy brand, for a luxury sex toy brand, which made a huge difference because I was working with the best erotic stores in the world. I mean, most of them. I was dealing with most of the world, part of the US and Asia, and my job consisted in, it was a very small company, so I was working very closely with the designer and with my clients to design and make like the best toys that would help women to have access to pleasure, that would also even like the products that would be, let's say, sexual health, so like having a strong PC muscle for, because it's important for your organs, for your core, because it's important for having a lot of pleasure and having a lot of sensations. So yeah, that was like I was traveling the world and educating people in stores, telling them about our products, how they were made, working with some of the most interesting people in the industry that really wanted to to change the industry, to give like to because when I started there were a majority of really bad quality stuff on the market that was contaminated with phthalates. The phthalates, just to know, it's something that is forbidden in baby dummies because it goes through the it's porous. That was still allowed for products going into women. So it was like the quality, it was also the design, something that really works for different body types. And also with a message that everybody, I mean, having pleasure is a birthright. And from the moment two people it's consensual, people are free to do what they please to do. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this job that I did for 7 years. That's what brought me into Barcelona. Um, and then and then I stopped my job. I decided to open a brunch place actually in Barcelona, which lasted about a month for a different reason, but that was an interesting experience. I'm glad it didn't work out because it was really hardcore on my body after being behind a computer and having to be like kind of cooking stuff and serving clients and this. It was a little kind of dream of mine. I did it for a month, great, ticked, done. Um, and I started helping friends with with small businesses, doing a little bit of consulting. And I always felt, through my own personal story and my challenges with men and relationships in general, I knew, and obviously because I was already in the world of relationships with my sex ed job before, I knew I wanted to get into that. So as I was training. I didn't want to go, but I'm not an academic. So I trained with different teachers. I did my classic like life coaching, and then I trained like with somatic, I mean, feminine embodiment coaching, with people that have been working with some of the pioneers with somatic work. And in parallel, I started to run, so organize plant medicine retreats. So I will be part of the team. I will bring the medicine man that will be serving the medicine, and I will start space holding. So also through the shamanic path, I've learned a lot, and I did a 1 year training with an incredible couple that work with different traditions from the world. And yeah, it's kind of learning how to hold space for myself, how to be what I talked about before from this path, and at the same time like learning more like the specific of relationships and working with the body. And yeah, and it's an evolving, keeps evolving. Like for the last 3 years I've been now facilitating with my friend our own psilocybin mushroom retreats, where we offer not just a retreat but a 7 week program where we really prepare people and take care of people afterwards, which makes a huge difference. So yeah, and yeah, and I can see. I mean, yeah, it's all interconnected. Let's say.
Yeah, yeah. I love what you explain about woman and pleasure as a birthright, because I have the feeling that now in the life we are very serious, very busy, a lot of stress, making money and all that. I feel like somehow women are forgetting the pleasure. I don't know what are your thoughts on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and pleasure can be taken in everything. Like bringing this playfulness, bring this is life. I mean, pleasure, it's what brought us on this planet. I mean, I'm not sure everybody had an orgasm as we were conceived, but it's like yeah, this is, so just being able to channel this, to be able to create spaces for this.
Mm,
And I think if we're slowing down, coming back to this like this more feminine approach to life, then we are in this I mean, we can become more sensitive. We learn to resensitize. So then we can live. I mean, this is what Tantra teaches, is like living in an orgasmic state permanently.
mm,
Because just taking a breath, I can feel pleasure from it. Just by listening to this, like the sound of the wind, just by eating this food, just by taking a moment to feel the richness of the sensations in my body.
mm,
And so, of course, like we are all becoming those machines, and we are like, there's a clear disconnect from here to here. And this is why, for me, it's so essential. That's why I work as a coach with the body. Like when I discovered this, it was such a big part of the puzzle that was missing. I thought, oh my God, because, all our traumas, all our history, whether we remember things or not, this is all encoded. And
mm.
then there is like, from the moment we're conceived and all the DNA and all the transgenerational trauma and everything that's been passed down. But it's like this is a place where we can liberate things without always having to go into the story. It can happen just by because the body knows how to look. You cut yourself, the body knows how to heal. You don't just tell it like, come on, you know. I mean, actually you can, and it goes faster having this relationship. But really, yeah, for me, this is a fundamental. This is like I have a practice that is called the feminine flow practice, or a non-linear movement. And this is incredible when I discovered this, because the practice is to move your body from what you are sensing and what you are feeling, not from the music, not from the yoga pose that will help for this, but from the information that you have access to right here and now. And this is incredible to resensitize the body. And then, it's like The first time you have a wine, you don't have the capacity to tell really if it's good or bad because it's just weird. It's alcohol. It's the first time you're trying it. But then when you get trained, you resensitize. So depending on where it lands, probably on your tongue or on your palate, you know what I mean? It's like,
Mm.
and then you
So,
can you amplify the all the spectrum of sensation you have access to. But also one thing I want to say here is um, the more we learn to feel pain, the more we open up to pleasure. Because if our range is that big, like that bit of pain, then we have access to that bit of pleasure.
mm,
When we actually enter the capacity, I mean, develop the capacity to feel more pain without being so scared of it and being able to hold ourselves through the process,
mm,
is what all of this opens. So then we can have access to way more than we ever thought was possible. And then we don't tell pain, oh, you're horrible, and no, you're part of the experience as much as pleasure is part of the experience.
mm.
Anyway, it's
Very interesting because often we, we don't want to feel the pain, or we don't take the risk, or we try
we
to.
haven't been taught. We haven't been educated to, it's like the first thing is like if you hit your, classic, you hit your toe on the side of the bed, what you're gonna do, you're gonna try to like distract yourself in a way, like by moving, instead, if you sit down, and I know it's like very challenging the first time, but I really want to invite people to try it. Bring your awareness to where you feel the pain and just witness it
Mm,
with compassionate curiosity, not to seem like, oh, fucking hell. But no, it's kind of like, okay, 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 okay. I can do this. Breathing deeply, breathing deeply.
mm,
I just want to meet the experience. It's just an experience, nothing less, nothing more. And then I can assure you, it's not the same sensation. It's not felt the same way. It's like it's challenging the first seconds, but then it changes to something else. Then I feel heat in my toe. Oh, that's interesting. It just changed to something else. And then it evolves. When we do the same with emotions, when or just sensations, like I feel a lot of like my shoulder is completely blocked, for instance. When instead of trying to like ignore it or just kind of like, come on, go away, like trying to do like some kind of moves I heard is good, or if I just bring my awareness in that part of the body with the intention of like getting curious and getting to know it. Hey, hi, who are you? Okay, all right. And bringing the awareness a little bit closer, sensing it, not with the intention of meeting it, not to get rid of it, not to, and then allowing the body to do whatever it wants to do. Maybe it's this, maybe it's bringing more breath, maybe it's doing a really weird sound that somehow creates a vibration that's going to impact my shoulder. These are the fundamentals, like those three things, because look, thousands of years ago, we had that. The sound, even if we didn't know how to speak, we had the movement, the awareness, and the breath. Four pillars. Same in Tantra, same in somatic work. And so if I can, once I feel, I've been amazed by it through myself and through with my clients, within seconds, things start shifting. Because this pain, this tightness, this ache just needed to be witnessed,
mm,
just needed to have a little bit of space. And maybe there is even a message in it. Oh, wow, that's directly connected to what happened to me a few weeks ago when I got very frustrated with this relationship with my best friend or whatever, you know? And so then magically things start shifting and the body start doing its own thing and liberates.
mm,
And then I have more access to pleasure.
mm. I love that. I think we get so much greatness today. This new relationship with the body and how to witness. You say the word is not about not to feel the pain or feel the pain or avoiding the pain. Is witness the pain. So I love that. One thing I would love to hear about you, if you want to share it, is those things that you do in Barcelona, the dating. event to do because I just love the concept and I really want more people to, if you are in Barcelona, please join because I love what she's doing and I know one day I'm going to to go there as well. And can you tell us how this idea was born and what are you doing exactly?
Well, being single, and I think, if you're single in 2024, um, at one point or the other, you're going to be faced with the dating apps. And so, I don't want to demonize them because I feel, if we know how to use it, it's a way to meet people. I just think it requires to have a really good strategy, not to waste too much time and energy and have like the updating fatigue. But anyway, although I'm still using it, um, I feel there is so much disconnect since, I mean, for the last few years. But, on one end, I mean, one part, there were COVID, but then also people living very, very busy lives, especially if you live in a big city. I was in London before, like people really just plan to see their friends like 3 months ahead, and then if they see someone to the next table, they probably won't even see them because they give the priority to, the focus is on this. And so, and also something that's been, I think, having a huge impact on dating is Me Too, the Me Too movement, and everything that happened after that. Because although I thought it was absolutely a necessity, it has been also doing a lot of collateral damage to, men, I think, being very scared of coming close to a woman and talking to her. Not just before, it was always the risk of being rejected. Now beyond this, there is also the risk of being thought of as a perv or as someone that comes with bad intention. So with all of this, how do you want people to flirt? And flirt is actually the name of my events, because for me, flirting in the essence is just human connection. It's just being able to recognize another being just by looking at them for a second. And it's something that is just, it's pure human connection. I mean, if you look at children, I would not call that flirting, but they are doing this all the time. They're trying to catch your eyes, they're playing, they're hiding, then they like looking at you again. And, you know, and this is just being fully present for a moment. It's playful, it's alive, it's exciting, and there is no, in my definition of flirting, of course, like for some people it might be coming with an agenda or expectations, or it can come with an energy of like of sleaziness. Obviously this is not what I'm offering here. It's like, for me, it's like the light side of things. It's um playfulness. It's about like connecting with other people. It's about feeling nourished by this those humans connection. And it might be just, for a few seconds, it might be for a bit longer, it might be, and really so in those events, really what is the offering, let's say, is people to have a moment to learn something about themselves through different interaction with strangers, to meet people they can deeply connect with. So have like a level of conversation and a level of connection that is not just like, hey, how are you doing? How old are you? What are you expecting? What are you here for? How long have you been in Barcelona? Or things like that. I really want to remove this superficial layer that I think it can, it will happen at one moment or the other. But who are you? I want people to kind of, I love using this term at the moment, and that makes my friends laugh. But um, get naked. But get naked, what I mean is like, okay, who are you? Like, once everything just, really let's meet as children. When kids are playing together, they don't come with all those, oh, I need to pretend, I need to look like this or not. It's just like, and this is what I play with. I use a lot of this um, childlike, playful energy to have different dynamics that are coming from some tantric practices. I did quite a few tantric retreats when I was in Bali and before, and so some of the exercises are inspired by it. And yeah, really the idea is for people to, feel nourished at the end of the event, to feel nourished. You have learned something about you learn something about yourself. You have met people you had a beautiful moment of connection with, and then if you meet someone that you fancy and they fancy you, fucking fabulous. It's like but for me it's the cherry on top. And I want people to feel that to feel connected to others in the real world, in the offline. And so I had an event for the first time in February this year, and then for 2025 I'm gonna create different events that's gonna be with different flavors. So some of them will be around cooking, some of them will be around going at sea on a boat, different flavors, but always with the same aim to, to keep things interesting and to go deeper and to have fun together.
Yes, more fun. Exactly. I think it's what I love about this concept is, it's not okay, I'm going to this event to meet the one and having, to find him inside, but it's more like, oh, let's connect. Let's find a let's have a great moment with humans interaction. And I think it's what I'm missing the most in the world right now, in today's world. It's not that o- obvious and common to have those type of event, whatever the excuse to meet, but you really need to seek for those community and those events in some community where you can feel safe, where you can be in good feeling, a good safe space. I think you say it from the beginning. You spoke about community and holding space for people and having a safe space. I think it's all about that humans being needs, and whatever you are or not in a relationship, we all need that. And so finding those places, those community where you can really feel safe and you can feel naked without being naked, because actually the real naked
Yeah. No one gets naked.
yeah, because I have been to to something actually quite funky in Berlin for a club, and they kind of oblige people to feel almost naked, to be almost naked, or to be, we say, having less clothes on, and it was a good thing that they forbidden fun in that space, so there were some level of safety, but I still felt like it was not 100% safe.
Well, the thing is, if you don't educate people and people don't have an idea of what's consent, and also beyond this, I think a lot of people, as soon as you have in a club, if you have alcohol, drugs,
Like,
you might feel that you're okay to exchange a kiss with someone. But do you? A lot of people, I think, are very disconnected from themselves. And also, what I do in the event, I really always take a moment for people to I never want people to do something that they don't want to do. And for this, people need to know themselves. So that means they need to be in touch with their emotions and their needs at all times because it can change. I can be okay to do something with you now, but then 2 hours later, actually, I'm in a different state of mind. And so for me, it's really important. It needs to be very empowering. And the problem with those places is I think there is a necessity for places where people are playing with the boundaries and they get into exploring, but they need to know, for instance, having gone through something called the wheel of consent. So everybody's on the same page because then not everybody comes with the same intention. And this is what I do also for my events is I screen people, so it's not open to everyone. I just want to, if you just want to have fun, you can just go to a bar and no, no, no. My mom is closing the light. Um, thanks, mom. Uh,
yeah, you scream people, so not everyone who's
and so yeah, they absolutely. I mean, I mean, for me, it's important because I want to, yeah, I don't want people that are just coming to have, if you're just looking for, to meet someone for sex, I mean, you can easily go to a pub and talk to someone and do it another way. No, for me, it's like I want to know where people are coming from, in which phase they are in their lives, what do they value, and also to create groups where I can do a little bit of matchmaking together. Because yeah, it's like as you said, I mean, there is events you can go to, typically, whatever are your interests, like whether it's spiritual, sports, or music, or but you never really know who is single from who is not. And for me, it's like that's where it's like I want to create those spaces because you're doing something fun that you enjoy doing anyway, but then everybody else is single, and then it's like yeah, you all, I mean, you're sharing already something together because you have something in common. You're single and you enjoy doing whatever activity. So
Yeah, no, it's an amazing. So congratulations, Mayu, on bringing more joy and more in-person event next year in Barcelona. So amazing. We are approaching the end, and you know my love for finances. So I always ask my guests, what has been or what is actually your relationship with finances, and how maybe has been the journey for you through your life.
oof, that's be a big one because I think it's very connected to the wounds with the father wound.
Mm.
So it's been interesting because a large part of my life I've been, managing well, had a really good career. I was making good money, and then I decided to become an entrepreneur and work for myself. And I thought things would be flowing, and then I realized, actually, yeah, in the last years that there is a part of me that didn't. So it's funny because yeah, there's a part of me that always had faith in myself and who I can become. But then there's another part of me that has zero faith, that has been not trusting that I can be held by the universe, by life, by the Father, because I was not. And so this has been a huge impact of me not trusting abundance. Of course, if I don't trust that things would work out, if I don't trust, and obviously a lot of it was unconscious and I've been bringing like little by little, but then when I connected to that, and so since it's been a lot about, yeah, about like doing this, this place of surrendering, of like, okay, like I trust, obviously it's not just I'm wishing for the best and not putting things into places, but really, instead of going like a headless chicken, like moving around and just being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I'm panicking, or like just is taking those moments again to, no, I trust, I'm being, I'm being protected, I'm being, and I can receive. So yeah, work in progress, big time. Like and also for me it's yeah, with my challenge with the masculine is still the structure, the
Mm.
structure, learning how to become a good. It's funny, I'm really good at organizing things. I've been organizing retreats and things for like many, many years, and this is something that I can do just snapping in my fingers. And then I'm not the most organized person when it comes to like having, this like structure. So I'm really learning to, yeah, to have more discipline.
Mm. And it's for me, it's always, it's not discipline in the bad sense of it. Is the structure is giving safety actually for me, and it's the relationship with money that I have is it's a tool that it comes in and out, it flows. There are moments in life where you have more and moment where it's a bit less, and it's it's flowing. But this structure, this I call my spreadsheet magical spreadsheet, is really having a file where you feel good to look at, you understand, and you don't need to have like a very big background in numbers to actually understand, but that it gives you a next level of safety and structure that allow you for materializing those dreams. So um it's okay, it's coming from the wound, from the dad, but I would always encourage you and just to bring a bit of love into that as well, because this is how the structure and having an approach for your finances is gonna open up open up new world of possibilities and ease actually and flow into your life.
No, and the masculine, I mean, you need the masculine structure and foundation to be holding the creative feminine. So 100%, 100%.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for opening up. Thank you for sharing. So just before we wrap up, I would love to ask you five last quick question where you answer in, 5 words or one sentence, a very quick one. But before that, is there something that you would love you have on your heart and you haven't shared yet with us today?
I think I shared quite a lot. Now I feel quite aligned. Yeah, I just want to share about, and I don't know if it's okay with you to share
Yeah.
something about the work that I do, because yeah, there's two things that are very close to my heart because well, it's been my story. So there's one that is my one-to-one program that is called Back to Love. It's all about learning safety, coming back to the center, to the essence, to the heart, and learning how to let go of those layers. And at the moment, that is open only to women, but it might be opening to men in the future. And also the work I do with psychedelics over 7 weeks. That is yeah, that's been, that is also another way to, I don't like to, many coaches and many people promise a lot of things. And for me, what I can promise is what we do in this program and in the others is a lot about teaching people how to hold space for themselves. This I can promise
Mm.
is giving the tools to navigate life and to navigate like an experience with the psychedelics. But then if you can do it with psychedelics, you can do it with literally any, any situations. So yeah, and the importance, I think it's really, and I just want to just finish on that. It's like it's absolutely fundamental for us women to take responsibility to rebalance this imbalance of masculine and feminine if we want to see harmony in the world, and it's down to each one of us, and I mean for men as well.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And on the note below the episode, you will find all the contact to reach out to Marion if anything resonate with you today. But before we close, let's do the rapid five. So the first question, if you are ready, one thing that you would love for your life.
um well, we mentioned this earlier today, but my ultimate goal is to really live my life from a place of having my heart open at any given moment with good guardians at the front. And I think this is the journey of this lifetime, and probably more. But yeah.
Nice. One thing you would love for the world.
Mm, to grow up. To adults. I think the concept of adulting, meaning taking responsibility, knowing, making choices. So the world can be something very different, not a world of wounded children and teenagers. Yeah,
The worst advice you have ever received.
it's been probably a lot. Um, oof, I don't know. Um, yeah, that, if it's the one, it will be easy. For me, I don't, I mean, yeah, there will be some, but I think, love is also work because we're here to heal. So,
Mm, thank you. The best advice you have received.
um, trust.
I love it. And if you had a magic wand, what would you transform?
About anything. Wow. I love depth, but this is a very deep question. Wow, what would I change? It's a difficult one because there's a part of me that believe that everything is perfect the way it is. Um, and yeah, I guess, that people can keep this connection, feel this connection with when the teacher and the teaching that we receive, like this connection with the eternal flame of love that
Mm.
is always shining, always accessible, and that people can remember even in the worst situation. And God knows there is many challenging situations for a lot of people right now. I hope they can, yeah, stay connected to this and continue to have faith.
Mm. Thank you so much, Marion, for today, for sharing all your journey, the amazing advice, and I hope to all the listeners that you have been receiving this energy of love, of playfulness, of aliveness, because it's what I receive. So thank you, Marion, for being here, and um, see you again on the podcast.
So much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure to share this moment with you and your audience.
Thank you.